In the early spring of 2005, Udambara flowers were found blooming at 2 temples in the Republic of Korea. Later, in Taiwan and many locations in mainland China, Udambara flowers were blooming. The flowers are shaped like bells and give out a pleasant fragrance. This is no ordinary flower. And it blossoms only once every 3,000 years. According to the Buddhist canon, the blooming of Udambara signifies that the noble king of Turning Wheel has come to the human world to impart heaven's law. Word of the blooming reached Zemin County of Anhui Province, where there lived a farmer, named Wen Chuandeng. Upon hearing the news of the Udambara flowers, Chuandeng, who lived alone in a modest home, wondered to himself, "It has been said the Udambara would bloom with the birth of Buddha Maitreya. Why not leaving home and travel about? I might be fortunate enough to hear Buddha Maitreya's preaching, and that would be a divine blessing." Looking through the belongings in his house, he found no items of value save for a sword passed from his forefathers. The sword could be used as a gift to his newfound master. Chuandeng thus headed off sword in hand, a little money on him, towards the nearby Huangshan Mountains in hope of finding an enlightened master. A tourist guide was leading her group to visit a peculiar cave near the mountains. There was plenty of mystery about the cave. Some insisted that it's a stone pit, but no record of the stone pit could be found in the county's archives. Furthermore, there was no project nearby and history would need that much stone. Chuandeng followed the tourists, and entered the cave. Inside the cave, the guide told the tourists, the cave was discovered in 1999. At first, people found a lot of crushed rock mixed with bones of cattle in the cave, which confounded the locals. And there were murals inside the cave that seemingly made no sense to observers. The locals, themselves baffled, dubbed the cave Thousand-Year Mystery Cave. The cave was opened to the public in May 2001, and Jiang Zemin made a special trip here in the same year. It was cold inside the cave, though it's summertime. As Chuandeng peered at the murals, he felt the old sword hanging from his waist began to vibrate. It was giving out a humming sound. Wondering what was happening, he drew the sword out and saw, miraculously, that something like words or symbols were flowing on it, like water moving from the handle to the tip. The sound the sword made grew louder and louder, as if the sword was about to take flight. He was worried others might see the strange spectacle. He hurriedly sheathed the sword, and stepped out of the cave. An old monk was sitting there close to the cave. The monk took a close look at the sword and realized this was an ancient sword named Gongbu, a sword that possesses its own intelligence. When Chuandeng told the monk the sword was handed down from his family's ancestor, 2,500 years ago, the monk figured that Chuandeng must be the descendant of General Wen Jiang, in the spring-autumn period 2,500 years ago. Chuandeng wished to dedicate the sword to the monk, and follow him as his apprentice. But the old man said, "I can see, you are a man who is not caught up in money and fame. There is only one person in this world, who can offer you salvation." Chuandeng puzzled. The monk continued, "When people discovered the blossoming of the Udambara flowers, they figured that noble king of Turning Wheel has not been born. But the fact is that he has already been imparting his teachings for 13 years here, in this world." Chuandeng counted on his fingers and asked in astonishment, "Do you refer to Fallen Dafa?" "You're quick," the man said with a smile. The monk pointed out, "The mystery cave resembles a large toad. Its flat entrance, like a plate placed face down, is the toad's mouth. And inside is toad's belly. The hunched top of the cave with its green circles is the toad's back. Just now, you shivered from cold inside the cave for the reason that it's full of damp cold air, and populated by rotten ghosts, who are hidden to the naked eye. Your sword vibrated because it was anxious to slay the wicked entities. Jiang Zemin's soul is the toad demon. It's the old forces who created him, to violently abuse define the world. The noble king of the Turning Wheel, gracious and merciful, gave Jiang a window of opportunity to repent. Yet, Jiang chose to persecute Falun Gong in 1999. He had squandered his chance through his own actions. Jiang's soul was thus condemned to incessant hell. In his effort to suppress Falun Gong, Jiang Zemin lost too much of his vital energy. In May of 2001, Dafa disciples eliminated the toad demon. Therefore, Jiang came here to this toad cave, on the verge of death, hoping to replenish black energy. What was active in the world today, was merely Jiang's human shell, propped up by the rotten ghosts. Jiang is a tyrant. The locals are facing a hard time to have ends meet, while he spent some 200 million yuan of the country's money on his trip, to build the road for him, and airship fresh fruits for him, and mobilized countless armed police, posted along the trail leading up to the cave. Even the chair, in which Jiang was carried up the trail, was made from special bamboos and ropes that were imported from other parts of the world.